Do you know that Lagos is the smallest state on the map of Nigeria with a population of over 20 million people living in Lagos? But one thing has been a challenge of a place like Lagos, which is very popular, and that is traffic. And so this afternoon on this segment of the podcast, we'll be discussing alternative means of transportation in Lagos State by road and, of course, water transportation through the Omi Eko projects. And with me in the studio today is my colleague and my friend, is our guest today, Chinweizu Amuta. Chidi, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Nice to be on your show.
Thank you very much. So we're talking about Omi Eko, yes, as Lagos water transportation.
Yeah.
Of course, as an alternative means, to at least reduce the traffic congestion in Lagos. How do you go about this?
I think the idea of waterways transportation in Lagos is an area that has been up to now is been underutilized as an alternative source of transport. We all know how congested Lagos roads can get, and having an alternative would obviously reduce the pressure on our road networks. And to this extent, I think the current Lagos State government should come in for some praise. Like you hinted at the beginning, they've introduced the Omi Eko projects, which is seeking to modernize waterways transportation and make it more appealing. Because bear in mind, I think the main challenge with waterways transportation adoption thus far has been public perception as far as safety of the waterways and the infrastructure. So with Omi Eko, I know it's early days, but it looks like it will bring more people on board waterways transportation in Lagos to the benefit of all Lagosians, I think.
Interesting. It's going to be more respite, of course, to the people. And then, of course, we expect that there will be lesser cars on the road, right? But then, of course, talking about water transportation, quite a number of people don't still know the essence, even about the Omi Eko project, right? Can you educate our viewers about this Omi Eko again?
Okay.
What's the project all about?
Okay, at its core, it's an infrastructure project. So basically, it's looking to build on existing structures. I think, off the top of my head, I think there are about 44 jetties in Lagos and about 12 terminals.
Interesting.
Serving Lagosians. So the structure already exists. It's not about starting from scratch. I think Lagos State government recognize this, and what they are trying to do is to improve on the safety levels, regulations, and adherence to these regulations. You understand? That's one. Two, opening up the jetties. I know I said 44 jetties and 12 terminals, but
yes.
Strictly speaking, not all of them are to a standard that would be ideal. So it's also part of the process is to bring them up to best standards as well. And not just I think another misconception about water transportation is the cost-saving aspect and, obviously reducing traffic. But it should also be looked at as an economic driver in terms of a lot of businesses, they can benefit from moving some of their logistics to waters. For example, bulkier products which normally go on trailers and congest the roads, add to the issues that we face on the roads. They can be taken on water.
Yeah.
I think some companies already do that. Some of the bigger companies like that move cars, trailers, they go on water, and that brings cost savings and it has a knock-on effect on the Lagos economy. So that's as far as businesses are concerned. But still staying on passenger transportation, like the passenger aspect of it, it's to increase efficiency among businesses because a lot of workers spend most of their productive time going and coming in traffic.
Yes.
And that really doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit the transporters, the road transporters, because of petrol and wear and tear on their vehicles. And it obviously doesn't benefit employers of labor.
Okay, so now, talking about this Omi Eko project on its own, I feel that many Lagosians are not really aware yet about this, right? And I think there's a need for what you call sensitization, right?
Yeah.
So how do we get about sensitizing people to understand that going by water is also safe?
I think, once again, responsibility obviously is primarily with the government. through its agencies, through Lagos State Waterways Agency, working on the federal level with the National Inland Waterways Agency, for them to improve on sensitization programs, not just at the source of where the service is being rendered, not just at the terminals and jetties, but on social media, and there's a lot that can be done. I'll give you a good example of one. I wouldn't say a missed opportunity, but I think when you talk about waterways transportation, it's all linked in. For example, in recent times, Lagos State government hosted the first ever electronic boat race, the E1 boat race, which was trending for a while, and was a very welcome initiative, to attract investment from outside. I think opportunities like that would be good to add a sensitization aspect, because it's human nature. If international organizers can come to Lagos, they can be comfortable enough to host that kind of an event here, and there were no issues safety-wise, that should transmit confidence to the average Lagosians. When they see outsiders being comfortable enough to do water sports on our waters, then talk less of daily commute. So that should give some confidence, and the government should find a way to segue these things together.
Public-private partnership. You and I know that government is not good with managing business, right? Now, the Omi Eko project. Now, for you to manage it sustainably, you probably need to run through a PPP project. Do you think that's viable?
I think that, yes, I think that is the way to go. The public-private partnership model, there have been successes in recent times adopting that model. And I think for waterways transportation, more than in other areas, a private sector component is essential, because obviously government can't do everything. And it's a dynamic industry. It's a dynamic
sector,
exactly, yes. And I think if you look at Lagos in particular, it's tried to adopt an intermodal system of transport where, waterways, rail, road networks are connected. You can see with the blue line, red lines, literally within a stone's throw from where the ferries are located in CMS, for example. I think it is almost unavoidable for a PPP model to be brought into play. That is, if you want this initiative to be sustainable.
Good.
That's my opinion on the PPP thing. And also, I would say to Lagosians, we're a state of water. We live on water, we walk around water, we eat from the water. So why not lean on the water for our transport needs? You reduce costs, you reduce emissions. It's a greener form of...
I was going to go there. Emissions,
Definitely. It's a greener form of transportation. And not just, the world that we live in, everything is going green.
Climate change.
Increasingly, yes. Exactly. So why not be ahead of the curve? We shouldn't always be the last people to take up stuff. Why not? We already have the water. We are blessed with abundant water resources. Not just what's within the water, but the water itself. You understand? So, that's my opinion on that.
All right, thank you so very much, Chidi. You said it all. One thing I'll take out from this, he said it that, it's a greener means of, transportation, whereby we reduce emissions and, of course, reduce the effects of climate change. We should also learn to run with the world, and not be left behind. So, to our Lagosians or to our viewers or our listeners out there, let's also key into the Omi Eko project, as government is trying to also make, the environment quite conducive, for Lagosians, so we don't stay longer hours, and of course, on the road. All right, so it's a wrap on this segment. My name is Femi Kumuyi, and today my guest was Chinweizu Amuta. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me once again.
Thank you.
Mr. Femi.